Hello everyone. Our today's topic is pleura. Today's topic is pleura, and this is the first lecture on the pleura. This is the first lecture in the pleura. Before I will tell you about the pleura, first brief about the lung. First brief about the lung. You know that lungs are respiratory organs. Lungs are respiratory organ, and they are two in number, right lung and left lung. Right lung and left lung. Each lung is conical in shape. Each lung is conical in shape. See, this is the figure of the right lung, and this is the figure of the left lung. Each lung, it is conical in shape. It is a one apex, one base, three border and two surfaces. Lung having a one base, one apex, three border and two surfaces. See, in the right lung, this upper narrow part of the lung is called apex. Upper narrow part of the lung is called apex, and this apex is situated at the root of the neck in the inlet of thorax. At the root of neck in the inlet of thorax. So upper narrow part of the lung situated in the inlet of thorax, it is known as the apex. Now this is the base of the lung. This is the base of the lung. Base of the lung, it is concave in shape. Base of the lung is concave in shape because base is rest on diaphragm, and the diaphragm is convex. Diaphragm is convex. So naturally, to adapt the convexity of diaphragm, the base is concave. Base is concave. So base is concave. Now, and it rests on the diaphragm muscle. Now in the left lung, this is the apex and this is the base. This is the base. Now lung having a three border. This is the anterior border, this is the posterior border, and this is the inferior border. Lung having a three border, anterior border, posterior border and inferior border. In left lung, this is the anterior border of left lung, this is the posterior border of left lung, and this is the inferior border of the left lung. Now anterior border of the lung, right lung, is short, thin, and it's extending from apex to the base. Anterior border of the right lung is thin, almost straight, is short in length, and extending from apex to the base. See the anterior border of left lung. It is also thin. In comparison, it is also short in length. It is also extend from apex to the base. But the anterior border of the left lung present a notch, and this notch, it is called cardiac notch. This notch is called cardiac notch. Now below the cardiac notch, it have a tongue-shaped projection. There is a tongue-shaped projection, and this tongue-shaped projection on the anterior border, it is called lingula. So this cardiac notch and lingula both are absent on the anterior border of the right lung. Anterior border of the right lung. Now this is the posterior border of the right lung. This is the posterior border of left lung. Posterior border of both the lung, they are extending from apex to the base. Apex to the base. Posterior border is thick and it is longer than the anterior border. So posterior border, it is longer than the anterior border. It is thick and it is extending from apex to the base. This is the inferior border of the lung. Inferior border of the lung is thin and is surround the base. So base is surrounded by inferior border. Here the base is surrounded by inferior border. In addition to the apex, base, anterior border, posterior border, inferior border, lung having a two surfaces. One medial surface, other one is lateral surface. Lateral surface is also called costal surface because the lateral surface is convex and it comes in relation with sternum, costal cartilage and the rib. So you know that inner surface of the rib and costal cartilage is concave. To adapt the concavity of the costal cartilage and rib, the lateral surface is convex. It is also called costal surface. Now in this diagram, the surface is seen. This is the medial surface of right lung. This is the medial surface of left lung. Medial surface of the right and left lung both is divisible into two parts. Posterior smaller part and a remaining larger part. Posterior smaller part and remaining larger part. Posterior smaller part of medial surface, it is known as the vertebral area. So this is the vertebral area. And remaining part, it is called mediastinal surface. It is called mediastinal surface. So this is the vertebral area and this is the mediastinal surface. Now on the mediastinal surface of both the lung, there is a depression. On the mediastinal surface of both the lung, there is a depression, and this depression, it is known as the hilum. This depression, it is known as the hilum. And below the hilum, there is a ligament, and this ligament, it is called pulmonary ligament. This ligament is called pulmonary ligament. And pulmonary ligament having a two layer, and in between two layers, this is the part of the lung. So hilum is a depression in the mediastinal area of medial surface of the lung. Hilum is a depression in the mediastinal area of medial surface of the lung. And through the hilum structure, they either enter or they come out from the lung. The structure which are enter or leave the lung, they all pass it through the hilum. So which structure they are passing through the hilum? First one, bronchus. Bronchus is passed through the hilum because it carries the air from trachea to the lung. Pulmonary artery, it is enter inside the lung through the hilum. Pulmonary vein, it come out from the hilum. It come out from the lung through the hilum. Bronchial artery enter through the hilum. Bronchial vein is come out from the hilum. Lymphatic is come out from the hilum. And the nerve of the lung is passed through the hilum. So this structure passes through the hilum, and either they enter or come out from the lung. They are the bronchus, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, bronchial artery, bronchial vein, lymphatic and nerve. So this structure which are enter or leave the lung, through the hilum, they are together known as the root of lung. So what is the root of lung? Structure which enter or leave the lung through the hilum, they are together known as the root of the lung. Root of the lung. And below the root of the lung, this is the pulmonary ligament. This is the pulmonary ligament. Now we come to the pleura. You know that pleura, it is a sac of the serous membrane. Pleura, it is a sac of the serous membrane which enclose the lung. And this serous sac or pleural sac, it is invaginated by the lung. It is invaginated by the lung. What is the invagination? Suppose you take the balloon and push your finger in the balloon. So naturally on the surface of the balloon, the depression is appear. And the part of your finger which is in the depression, it is covered by a layer of the balloon. So this process, by pressing it, it is called invagination. Similarly, in this way, lung is also invaginate the pleural sac. Now for the invagination, you see this figure. During the development, this is the developing pleural sac. And here the developing pleural sac, this is the developing lung with root of the lung. So in first figure, pleural sac and developing lung, they are situated side by side. With further development, as the lung is enlarged, it pushes the pleural sac. It pushes the pleural sac. So naturally, the shape of the pleural sac became like this. Here the depression appears. With further development, as the size of lung is increased, it completely invaginated by pleural sac. Pleural sac. Now in this diagram, this is the lung and this is the root of lung. This is the serous sac. Serous sac. Now in beginning, serous sac, pleural sac having only a single layer. But due to the invagination of lung, the pleural sac, it is divisible into two layers. This is the outer layer and this is the inner layer. And both the layers, they are continuous with one another at the root of the lung. So pleural sac, it is by the invasion of lung. Now it is a two layers, outer layer and inner layer. And both the layers, they are continuous with one another at the root of the lung. Now, outer layer is called parietal layer. Outer layer is called parietal layer. And inner layer is called visceral layer or pulmonary layer. Second layer is called visceral layer or pulmonary layer. And both the visceral and pulmonary, visceral or pulmonary and parietal layer, they are continuous one another at the root of the lung. Now in between the two layers, here there is a space is there. Here there is a space. And this space, it is called pleural cavity. This space is called pleural cavity. Now actually the pleural cavity, it is a capillary interval. It is a very thin space. It is just like a capillary interval. So and this space or pleural cavity, it contains the fluid inside it, and this fluid is serous fluid. This fluid is serous fluid. Now you know that during the respiration, during inspiration, during the inspiration, the lung is expand in size. During the expiration, size of the lung is decreased. So during the lung movement, the friction is occur between the visceral layer and parietal layer. And this friction, it is minimized by serous fluid present in the pleural sac. So note here, visceral layer and parietal layer, they are continuous with one another at the root of the lung. Now, first visceral pleura. Visceral pleura, it is intimate relation with the lung. We can't separate it from the lung. It is completely covered the lung, except part of the lung, hilum of the lung, and part of the lung lying between the two layers of the pulmonary ligament. So the whole lung is covered by the visceral pleura, but at the hilum and between the two layer pulmonary ligament, this part it is not covered by the visceral pleura. Now, visceral pleura again, it covers the lung except the hilum and part of the lung between the two layer of pulmonary ligament. It is intimate relation with the lung. We can't separate the visceral pleura from the lung, and visceral pleura at the root of the neck, at the root of the neck, at the root of the lung, at the root of lung, it is continuous with the parietal pleura. Continuous with the parietal pleura. Now, parietal pleura cover the body wall. Parietal pleura cover the body wall. And for parietal pleura, see this figure. This is the vertical section. This is the vertical section to the thorax. So this is the wall of thorax. This is the wall of opposite side of thorax. This is the diaphragm muscle. And this is the pleural sac of one side. This is the pleural sac of other side. And this is the root of lung. So between the two pleural sac, here there is a space. And this space, it is called mediastinum. This space is called mediastinum. Mediastinum is not empty space. Mediastinum is not empty space. It contains the heart, blood vessel connected with the heart. It is also contains the esophagus, trachea and some other structures. So mediastinum is space. Mediastinum is a space, contains the heart, great vessels, trachea, esophagus and some other structures. Now for descriptive purpose, parietal pleura is divisible into four parts. See in this diagram, this is the medial one-third of clavicle. So this part, this is the visceral layer, inner layer is visceral layer, outer layer is parietal layer. So this part of parietal pleura, it lying above the medial one-third of clavicle. And this part is called cervical pleura. This part of the parietal pleura form the lateral limit of mediastinum. So this part is called mediastinal pleura. This part of parietal pleura covers the upper surface of diaphragm. So it is called diaphragmatic pleura. And this below the clavicle up to diaphragm, this pleura, it is a postal pleura. So parietal pleura is divided into four parts: above the clavicle, cervical pleura, part of the parietal pleura from the boundary of the mediastinum, it is called mediastinal pleura. Part of the parietal pleura cover the upper surface of diaphragm, it is called the diaphragmatic pleura. And this pleura covers the whole of the thorax, it is called postal pleura. So four parts of parietal pleura: cervical, mediastinal pleura, diaphragmatic pleura and the postal pleura. Now detail about this four part I will tell you in next lecture. Now today's topic is over.